New Year, everybody! It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, January 3rd, 2021. Oh! The music, the magic, the moments, Adam's sad little face peering through the foyer door. This was my favorite wedding of 2020, and I think this was a wonderful way to begin 2021. Yay! No social distancing, just Sharon and Ray kissing while covered head to toe in a glitter bomb. Thank you. Exactly what I needed. Thank you. Well, I'm glad that at least half of you enjoyed it along with me. Last week I asked you guys if you were rooting for the Sharon and Ray wedding. 55% of you said yes, bring it on, but more surprising to me was the 45% of you who said no, make it stop. Are you kidding me? I thought that would be a way different vote, or at least that there would be a little bit less of a wide margin there. I mean, 45% of you weren't even feeling this magic? I don't know. I wonder if maybe the 45% of you would have been won over if Nick had actually whisked Ray away to a bachelor party. To the bachelor party that he was teasing him about. Because I'm just imagining all the guys from the GCPD buying shots for Ray at the Crazy Eights. Maybe that would have turned some of you around on Ray. What is so not likable about Sharon and Ray? I like Sharon, I like Ray. I think if anybody deserved to have a hella awesome bachelor party, it's Ray. He deserves that and a whole lot more for his patience and steadfastness through this period of Sharon's life. I think he at least deserved one good night to party. Maybe the reason most of you don't find him exciting is the very character fact that he turned it down and in fact seemed very uncomfortable with the idea of a bachelor party at all. That's just not who he is. But hey, we need characters like that on the show, I think. I like Ray. I would have liked to have seen him party though and loosen up a little bit. I'm glad that Sharon at least had some sort of, not really a bachelorette party, but at least some pre-wedding moments with her girls. I was glad that Mariah was able to pony up with the finger sandwiches and the champagne. But if I have one criticism, it's that Mariah was not 100% on top of her maid of honor duties. Because if Mariah would have been 100% on top of her maid of honor duties, there wouldn't have been any leftover alcohol at Sharon's house for Faith to steal. Mariah, as a good maid of honor, should have made sure that every last drop of alcohol got drank before the wedding. Pour it down Sharon's throat if you have to, just to get her to the altar. Oh. I'm sure that Tessa could have helped to polish off all of the extra booze if she had been around long enough to. Tessa just got here, and she's gone already? I mean, she was 2 scenes, and then gone again. And Tessa was supposed to write and perform a song at Sharon and Ray's wedding, but she gets a call from her agent. There's a big show in New York City, the Big Apple, on New Year's Eve. Well, clearly she has to take this opportunity for her career. Well, no, not really. I mean, there was this great moment, I think it was on Thursday's show after the wedding, where Nick was telling Mariah that she has Sharon's heart. And maybe that's true, but I don't. I don't have Sharon's heart, because if I were Mariah, I would have vetoed Tessa going to that gig. Not gonna lie. I know it would have been good for Tessa's career, but I know myself, and I think I would have been totally selfish, and I think I would have said, no, you're staying at my mother's wedding, because I need you here. I need you more than New York City needs you. But Tessa did get to have a wonderful heart-to-heart with Sharon. Tessa was thanking Sharon for welcoming her into the family, even though she had every reason not to. I loved that heart-to-heart. I also loved the heart-to-heart that Sharon had with her daughters and with Faith especially. Sharon was thanking Faith for being so supportive during the past year, and she was also wishing that this new year would bring more happiness and more peace into Faith's life. I wish that for Faith too. Faith passed the test last week of not giving in to Jordan's peer pressure to steal the liquor from Lola. But when Jordan, after that, started giving Faith the cold shoulder, Faith caved in and stole some vodka from Sharon's minibar. It's the wrong decision, and I think it maybe doesn't help that everyone in Faith's life and in her family does treat her like a child. I think she's in that in-between phase, not quite a child, not quite an adult, but she's becoming a young woman. And in the middle of Mariah's wedding toast for Sharon and Ray, right in front of everyone, there was this moment where Mariah stopped her speech to glass check Faith. Like, oh, you got sparkling cider in there, right? Like, to make sure that everyone had a moment of understanding that Faith wasn't drinking alcohol. It was unnecessary. I know Faith had, her problem with Jordan, and she got caught drinking alcohol, but I didn't think it was necessary to call her out in the moment. Mariah knew it was cider. Everyone knew it was cider. So it was just this unnecessary comment, and it made me see, for a moment, from Faith's point of view. I think maybe if she were being treated like the mature young woman that she is, a little bit more in many different little ways, then maybe she would be acting as a better young, mature woman. Maybe. I think for sure Sharon will have some mothering still to do in this new year, as will Nick. Sharon and Nick had also a very wonderful heart-to-heart before the wedding, and I was lapping it up. I love Nick and Sharon, and I'm loving Nick right now. Josh Morrow is not only so sweet and so funny in this role with Nick right now, but he's also giving me that same Tracy Bergman vibe that I was talking about a couple weeks ago, that he just seems happy. He just seems like a happy person, maybe in his personal life. He's the way he's delivering his lines, anybody can deliver a line, but he seems like he's practically bouncing off the walls. Like he's enjoying this opportunity to show Sharon his Christmas socks. And he was really getting into the role of being Ray's best man and joking with him about the bachelor party and about the rings. And he was just overly excited with the noisemakers on New Year's Eve. He's just being all cute and irresistible, and I'm in love with him right now. And I was so glad to see that Nick and Sharon were actually in a place of acknowledging their relationship and being good with it. I'm a lifelong Nick and Sharon fan. I'll never not be a Nick and Sharon fan. I'd love a Nick and Sharon reunion someday, but for now, I absolutely will settle for just them talking about how far they've come. This has been a long road for them, and it's pretty amazing that not only was Nick okay with Sharon marrying someone else, but he's the best man at the wedding. Can you even imagine Victor being that okay if Nikki did the exact same thing? Don't think so. Don't think that Victor's gonna stand there and be at Nikki's wedding as not the groom anytime soon. So it's just a cool evolution of a really classic soap opera couple, and I was completely charmed by it. After Nick leaves, though, I was also charmed by Ray and Sharon right before the wedding, when Ray and Sharon were taking a moment to remember their love story, and they were talking about how they fell in love, and they were talking about that night that they spent together in the hotel room, and Ray was saying, "I wanted you so bad that night." I loved that callback, and I can't help but think that maybe we needed more of those callbacks. Maybe we needed a reminder, a refresher about Sharon and Ray's history together and why we should be rooting for them as a couple. I think if Y&R would have given us more moments like that before the wedding, maybe our poll results would have swung a little stronger in their favor. I'm in favor of Sharon and Ray. I am happy that Sharon is happy, and I think that Sharon makes a really lovely member of the Rosales family, and it was fun to see her being embraced by them all. I was hoping and predicting that Mama Celeste would show up in person at the wedding to see her son get married and to fall in love with Jack. But that did not happen. I was wrong. And I guess a video call we'll have to do. That wasn't very exciting, but I guess it's better than nothing. It was nice to see the Rosales children with Sharon all together in her living room, just welcoming Sharon into the family. It felt very warm. It felt very real. And it was also nice to see Ray mending fences with his brother. Ray may have wanted Sharon so bad that night when they were in the hotel room, but Ray was married to Mia, and he was committed to Mia, and he had all of the intentions of staying faithful to Mia. And then she turned around and slept with his brother. Off screen, and then we found out about it later in a flashback. Yeah, I'm still holding on to that. And what a surprise that Arturo showed back up in town, not only to support his brother, but to officiate the wedding. How awkward. I thought that part was weird, and I would have rather had a different minister. Arturo just came in, announced that he got certified, I guess at the same online school for wedding officiators that Devon did, but it was on the day of the wedding. Like, what was the plan before the wedding day? Did some other Genoa City ordained minister get booted out of the job because of Arturo's surprise? Just because Arturo showed up with his quickie degree? Freshly graduated from ordained minister school? That was weird. And, side note, I cannot believe that Abby stopped Arturo at the wedding to thank him for cheating on her. That was so immature. I'm sorry, but that was immature. He hurt her. I get it. I was there. I saw her tears. But I cringed when she said that. I guess I should thank you for cheating on me because it led me to find the person that I was destined to be with. It was just such a backhanded compliment. It was meant to stab at him while helping herself feel self-empowered. And I don't know, I just feel like the real thank you, with wisdom and maturity here, the real thank you could have given to Arturo. You don't owe Arturo a thank you at all. You just need to thank yourself. You should be glad and thankful that you got out of a relationship where he wasn't going to be faithful to you. What you need to do, Abby, is just relish in the fact that you can now continue on with your life in happiness. She should just be happy and smug about it. That's what I would have done. Abby and Chance ducked out of the wedding before it started, but oh, I have to say, society was looking so extra fluffy and so extra twinkly. And when Sharon came through the front door in her dress, wow. Wow. The bride does not automatically get my best dressed vote, but wow. Is there anyone more beautiful than Sharon Case? Ugh. Her breasts looked amazing. Not a single scar, not a single lump, just a plunging V-neck on a silken garb, presenting her cleavage for the gods. Admittedly, I was surprised that Y&R made this wedding dress choice. I was surprised that Y&R would put her in the breast dress after a year-long battle with cancer. But then again, why start making her breast cancer storyline realistic now? Now that it's over. No, the realism ship sailed long ago. So I'm not gonna be offended. I say bring on the boobs. What can I do? Y&R has made their choice. Sharon, like it or not, has made her choice. Oh. The man Sharon wanted to marry was standing at the altar, while the man who wanted to marry her was standing at the door. Oh yeah, that's gotta hurt. Sharon could have had Adam. She could have had Adam. She chose Ray. She chose to walk down that aisle to Ray, and I think it was the right choice. Whether or not what I think, it was Sharon's choice. She made it. It may not be the most exciting choice, but it was her choice. And here's what really highlights Sharon's decision for me. Here's the moment where I really got and understood why she made this choice. It was in Ray's vows. Ray said to Sharon, I vow to cherish and to respect you. Respect is the key here. That word is the key here. And that, for me, is the difference between the dynamic between Sharon and Ray and the dynamic between Sharon and Adam. To me, this Adam, this version of Adam, since he came back from Vegas, seemed to want Sharon as a conquest. He wanted Sharon to marry him with no thought. He wanted Sharon to acquiesce to him whether or not she felt it right. What Sharon felt and wanted seemed to be the sideline. Adam pressured her. Adam proposed to Sharon, and he pressured her into it. And when she came to the conclusion that a relationship with Adam wasn't right for her, wasn't good for her, he was cruel. He was cruel toward her, and then went moping back to Chelsea, and then flip-flopped between Chelsea and Sharon a couple more times. That's not respect. That's not enduring love. If Adam truly loves Sharon, then he should respect whatever decision she makes for herself, even if that means that the choice is not him. But in Adam's face, looking through the foyer onto Sharon's wedding, which he was not invited to, was not supposed to be at, the sense I got from him was regret. That maybe he could have changed his outcome if he had approached things with her differently. But more importantly, I also got the sense that Adam was prepared to let her go. That maybe he was wanting her happiness above his own, and that is quite an evolution for him. I hope to see more of it. Phyllis bumped into Adam just before the wedding started and could not resist the opportunity to go poking at him about it. Does Chelsea know that she's the consolation prize? Ouch. I mean, it's kind of true. So, double ouch. Adam laid it all on the line for Sharon not that long ago, and she still chose Ray. And now Adam is saddled with Chelsea. Freaking Chelsea was supposed to be the love of his life, but now he's like, Chelsea, second choice. And on top of it all, Chelsea has spent the entire week preparing to go under the knife for her brain surgery. Her brain surgery. She was preparing all week for it, only to collapse on the floor in anguish and be hauled away by paramedics the night before the procedure. Ugh. Worst day ever for Adam. First, Sharon marries someone else, and so he's got to go back to Chelsea. But now Chelsea's in the ICU, getting ready for emergency brain surgery. Not even scheduled brain surgery. Emergency brain surgery. I don't know what to think about this. I don't know what's going to happen when Chelsea comes out of her brain surgery. Either she's gonna be fine and boring some more, or I don't know, I guess it's possible that she could revert. I don't know. I mean, it's possible that she's gonna need Adam's constant care. That's gonna be kind of boring. I don't know. I don't know what she's gonna do. I guess the best that we could hope for would be that Chelsea's brain surgery will restore her back to normal, like, so she doesn't act like a person who would totally shoot Adam from between rooftops on the day that she escapes his kidnapping. Because that's what she was acting like before the aneurysm. I don't know about the Chelsea piece of it. She was acting like some sketchy. She was acting sketchy before the aneurysm. And yeah, as soon as Adam got back into town from their trip with Connor, Adam ran into Billy, and Billy was as smug toward him as ever. Yeah, I didn't shoot you, but you just never know how many other people out there might be gunning for you. Just fine, just never mind the fact that Y&R gave us a months-long who pulled the trigger story with an off-screen character as the final culprit. But they didn't bother to give us Alyssa's confession on screen, so I don't understand why they would not now make a little bit of room for Adam and Alyssa to have some kind of confrontation. Why not one scene, just one, between Adam and Alyssa? It's just, Adam, it doesn't make sense. Adam would at least want to confront the person who tried to shoot him, right? This is like one of the worst endings ever to a whodunit. Adam would want to confront Alyssa, and maybe seeing Alyssa's anger and vitriol might help sell this crappy ending to me. Because look, I'm okay with it being Alyssa, and I will eventually let it go. But couldn't they at least have sold me on it? Couldn't they at least, if it's gonna be Alyssa, fine, but couldn't they at least have done a better job of selling me on it? Nick spent his New Year's evening getting some Happy New Year / Happy Birthday Nookie from Phyllis. What did she have there with her at the very end of Thursday's episode? A bowl of raspberries? Huh? Nick shows back up at the hotel. It's probably at like 2 a.m. after the wedding, and Phyllis is just sitting there in the bed in her sexy bra with a bowl of raspberries. Okay, I guess. Happy birthday, berries? Okay, I guess. Happy birthday, berries. We'll go with that. At least maybe a cupcake would have been more appropriate. How about one of those huge cupcakes that was in the foreground of Sharon's wedding? Phyllis could have stolen one of those cupcakes while she was there dropping off the wedding gift and peeping on Adam, peeping on Sharon. Last Sunday, I thought that I was being real clever by adding to my 2021 predictions list that Phyllis would secretly steal millions of dollars from Newman Enterprises from under Victoria's nose to pay off her debt with Nick. And now I realize that I think that's exactly what's happening now. Phyllis was suddenly very interested in what's going on with Gloria when she heard that Kevin was on the phone with Michael, talking about their mother, getting herself into something they need to talk about it. So I think Phyllis, wanting revenge on Victoria, went ahead, is the one that was stealing money from Newman Enterprises Los Angeles, and I think she's now using that to pay off her debt to Nick. She handed him a check, said she now wants to start paying off that debt weekly. I think Phyllis knows that Gloria caught on to her, so she's keeping Kevin close. I don't think Phyllis and Gloria are necessarily in it together. I think they're on opposing sides. But I think it's going to be very interesting either way. I mean, my theory is that Phyllis was working alone, but who knows? I actually really liked the scene between Phyllis and Kevin. It was very odd. It was odd and a little awkward, but I loved it, and I loved that they acknowledged their previous partnership of disposing Dr. Tim Reed's body together. That was a nice callback. Dr. Tim Reed was always in love with Phyllis. He thought Phyllis was just the cat's meow. The octopus's ink. And he was I want to say she put on some sexy lingerie. She was trying to get something out of him. And he was so overwhelmed with his attraction toward her that he had a heart attack in Phyllis's apartment and died. And she saw Kevin walking down the hall, grabbed him and pulled him into helping her to dispose of the body. Ah, good times, good memories. I have such fond memories of that odd little Tim Reed. Amanda's reaction to what she saw on Christmas Eve is so relatable. Everything that Amanda is going through right now is so relatable. She has anger toward her birth mother, Naya, but she also has jealousy toward Naya's adult daughter, Imani. This is Amanda's half-sister. That part is almost even more intriguing to me because from Amanda's perspective, Imani had the life that Amanda always wished she had. A loving mother, happy family. Doesn't hurt that the family was apparently loaded and involved in politics, so therefore presumably high profile and presumably powerful. Well, Devon is high profile and powerful too, yet he was spending New Year's Eve alone. Again with his Chinese takeout. Devon loves Chinese takeout. I'm pretty sure that's like the second time we've seen him eating Chinese takeout this month. With Amanda at his side. I think Amanda was also alone in her room on New Year's Eve, and so with her head spinning in circles about her mother, she just followed the whiff of the takeout Chinese food right on over to Devon's house. Oh, she spent the whole evening with him, talking about all the time that he spent being a hot shot in the music industry. Devon was showing off his tattoos too. I tell you, I think Devon was very sexy in those scenes. I could totally fall for Devon, and I was kind of rooting for a New Year's Eve kiss between them. But midnight came and went, and they missed their opportunity because of Adam and Chelsea making all that commotion in the hall. But, in retrospect, I was kind of glad because I could definitely stand to wait a while longer to build up some anticipation around Devon and Amanda. And presumably I will have to. There's no kisses in COVID town. Although, Y&R clearly spot tested everyone for Sharon and Ray's wedding. I guess that's a thing, spot testing. So I was thinking that there could be a possibility that they could have spot tested for an Amanda and Devon kiss, but they didn't. I don't know about all that. Can't we just spot test every day so that we can get back to the kissins? Well, since Brighton and Brittany are a real-life couple, we did get a Devon dream sequence after Amanda left the penthouse before her chariot could turn into a pumpkin. And Devon dreamed that he was kissing Elena. What's up with that? He was dreaming of kissing Elena, and then he turned around, and it was Amanda who was standing behind him in this dream. I don't get it. I don't get it. Does that mean that Devon is still pining for Elena, but maybe Amanda's the one he thinks he could have? Or does he have feelings for both of them? Or does he feel like he should have feelings for Amanda? Or is he just confused? I don't know. that's an interesting part of the story, but it's not the story. I really do think that Amanda's journey toward finding her parents is, oddly, the more appealing part of the story, even though I'd love to see an Amanda and Devon hook up. I am really much more interested in finding out what happens with Amanda and her family. Previously, in the hotel room before she went to Devon's, she was calling Naya, and I think she was kind of trying to work up the nerve to talk to her mother on the phone, but then when she heard her mother's voice, she hung it up. Well, when Amanda gets back to her room after New Year's Eve with Devon, Naya reverse dials her. She star 69'd her. Oh, there's a reference. But Naya is on the other line. She's calling Amanda's phone number. Amanda picks up the phone and says nothing. But Naya is on the other end saying, who keeps calling me from this number? And is it the same person who was outside of my house on Christmas Eve? Who are you? What do you want? Oh my gosh. That's chilling. And in the previews for next week, Amanda is on the phone weeping and so sweetly and so innocently saying, I'm your daughter and I'd really like to meet you. Ah! Rip my heart out, why don't ya? Serious question. Why isn't Nate in every scene, every day? Seriously. Am I the only one who sees all of this potential in his character? He's like the best looking guy on the show. He plays good drama and he also plays good comedy. I thought his vertigo joke was adorable. I would be melted on the floor like a puddle of wax if I was on a date with Nate and he was giving me all the charm that is currently being wasted on Elena. I tell you right now, I would knock Elena out of the way to get to Nate. I might knock my own daughter out of the way to get to Nate. But I understand why Elena is stuck. That's the great part of the story. It drives me crazy that she cannot let him in. But I understand it. Feelings don't just change overnight, and all of Elena's feelings were for Devon. She had some desires for Nate, no doubt about it, but she wanted a life with Devon, and now that opportunity is gone, and she's just stuck in limbo. Not over Devon, but not ready to move on with Nate, no matter how amazing he is. But Nate is not going to wait forever. Nate invited Elena to get a room upstairs at the Grand Phoenix for a night. The man wants to have some sex. He wants to have some sex to forget all about his hand. Dang, Elena. Can't you grant him this one Christmas wish? Can't you grant him this Christmas miracle? All right, okay, Elena's not ready for sex with Nate. But then he offers her just to watch a movie together, and he tells her that he would be fine to just hold her while she falls asleep. My God! I would shove Elena in front of a speeding train to hear him say that to me, but she just walks away. Lily just got back from visiting the twins, and she gave us an update on their lives. It sounds like they're both working on seeking out some job opportunities. Maddie is in medicine, and Charlie is in film production. must be a real circle of life moment. I'm sure many of you have been there. To realize that your kids are all grown up and they're starting to live independent lives of their own, and to realize that the main part of your parenting job is done, and if done well, you now have some time to actually pursue your own interests, like sleeping with your co-CEO. A lot. Like a lot. It sounds like Billy and Lily are having a lot of sleeping together, which is good. I'm glad for them. I am. Hey, Lily finally had a catch-up session with Abby this week. It's about time. Abby's married and planning babies, and this is the first time that Lily is hearing about it. I don't even know if Lily and Abby have shared a scene together since Abby and Chance started dating, and Lily's been back on the show for a while. They were supposed to be best friends. But all that talk about kids and babies got Lily to thinking, like, wait a minute. Are Billy and I even on the same page? Does he want more family? Does he want more kids? So Lily asks him, and the look on his face was like, what? More kids? Hell no! So she followed suit. Like, she was like, oh yeah, no kids, yeah, I'm done. But I do wonder if in that moment Lily felt a little sad. Maybe just realizing that even in the best case scenario, if things with Billy were to work out forever, then she's still done having a family, having more family. And I think Lily is someone who has spent much of her life being focused on family, raising 2 kids, twins nonetheless, and raising a husband like Kane. Like, it's very time consuming, and it's also very emotionally consuming, and to realize that that part of your life is done is probably very stark. I don't think that Lily, I don't think that her sadness in that moment, or whatever she was thinking in that moment, will stop her from moving full steam ahead with Billy. I don't think this is a plot point, but I do think that it was a very interesting character study to see that that moment and that conversation about kids gave her some pause. This week, Sally was telling Lauren the tale of her sad childhood when Jack overheard and took some pity on her. Sally then went on to successfully spin her tale of woe to sound like Theo was spreading rumors about her, about poor sweet innocent her on his way out of town, telling Summer that Sally was out to get her. Boo-hoo! Sally conveniently left out the part where she was happy to cohort with Theo if it got her what she wanted. But now Jack, with his sentimental heart, is offering to step in and smooth the waters between Summer and Sally. So let's get to it. What is going on between Jack and Sally? Y&R Chatters? Are they about to hook up? It is time to put a poll on that question at yrchat.com. Is this happening? Is there going to be a Jack and Sally hookup, romance, anything? Are you getting love or sex vibes? Are we going here, chatters? Cannot wait to see those poll results this week, because I now, for the 3rd week in a row, still contend that there is no way that Y&R is going to pair Jack and Sally. I keep seeing people, a lot of people saying this. A lot of people are thinking that this is headed in that direction, and I don't buy it. Jack has only become a Sally booster as a way to thrust her into a triangle with Summer and Kyle. This story is about Summer, Kyle, Sally, not Jack and Sally. I have been wrong about a lot of things, and I will continue to be wrong, and I might be wrong about this one. But my theory is Y&R is just messing with us. I think they know that our heads are spinning about this question right now. And I refuse to give them the satisfaction. I will be your human glass of milk. Is that the weirdest line ever? I will be your human glass of milk? Who said it? Well, Mark, Henry, Kathy, Sam, Ambreen, Jamie D, and, well, Mark again, or a different Mark, not sure. All got it right. You all got it right when you guessed that it was Lola. What a weird moment, but in context, a little less weird. Lola was talking to Ray about Arturo last week, getting ready to attend the wedding, and they had a whole super secret Operation Habanero going on, so that if Ray got a little too hot about Arturo's presence, then Lola would be Ray's human glass of milk to take the heat off. Does that work? If you eat something hot, does milk neutralize it? That sounds right, but I've never tried it. Maybe I should. Well, that was last week, and this is this week. And I wanted to pick something that really represented the wedding. So here's our little clip of a line from this week. Who said it? Happy marriage, fairy dust. Whose lips uttered the phrase, happy marriage, fairy dust? That seems right. It seems to encapsulate the whole wedding and the whole week for me. Lots and lots of happy marriage, fairy dust. Who said it? If you think you know, go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, then I will give you your shout out on next week's Y&R Chat. Well, it is not a wedding unless we have our best and worst dressed. Yay! I'm going to give you mine, and then I will read some comments of yours. Well, I'll give you my best dressed right now. I already said it. My best dressed were Sharons breasts. Sharon's breast really stole the show for me. So it's really more about the worst dressed for me. I don't know. I hesitate to say this because I feel bad. It's a fine style. It's just not my style. My worst dressed was Lola's ear cuff. I could not take my eyes off of Lola's whole ear cuff. If you love an ear cuff, you go. I hope you love your ear cuff. But just for me, I didn't love it. Did not love it. It's not a wedding, it was not wedding attire, but in the same vein was Tessa's black bird dress with a matching black beret. Maybe I'm aging out of these more severe fashions. But for me, I'm not a fan of severe black wardrobe with severe black makeup. That is both the vibe that Lola and Tessa were giving me this week. Like, if it's a severe black outfit, yeah. But then I like to lighten it with some light. I would like a lighter makeup, or if you've got severe black eye makeup, I'd rather have a lighter dress. I like the contrast, but when it's just all severe, like, are you a villain? I don't know. It wasn't working for me, and it didn't also seem all that wedding appropriate. I don't know. Black too, maybe that's what it is, because I think I was saying at Abby's wedding, maybe it was, that Victoria wore black to the wedding. Maybe I just don't think of black as a wedding color. Maybe that's it, as a wedding guest. But then again, taste is taste and style is style. Maybe you guys loved Lola's ear cuff, and maybe you were rooting for Tessa's feathers. I like texture in an outfit. It was just a whole lot of black. Diana said, I loved the fashion and I loved Sharon's champagne wedding dress. It was very classy and pretty, and her hair also looked nice. Oh, I'm glad you classified Sharon's wedding dress as champagne, because I was kind of going back and forth, like, what color is that? Because it did cast different in different lights, but champagne's the perfect description of that color. And yes, her hair looked nice, and Ellen said, I loved Sharon's hair. I wonder why they don't do an off-center part and soft waves with her as a regular look. It's very flattering. Yeah, I know. Sharon always gets clocked for that same part. I can't say anything about it because my hair wants to part where it parts, and I just let it. I think that the hair is much like the heart. It goes where it wants to. But then again, I don't have a hairstylist, and Sharon Case does, because I agree the waves look really good. She does look good with crinkly hair. If the part doesn't bother me as much as how straight her hair usually is. It's like iron straight, like as straight as a line, and then it's usually cut really, really clean. That's just, it's her style. It must be what she likes. But I do agree that it was nice to see her with something a little different. I would be all for Y&R mixing up Sharon's style a little bit more, although, I mean, she always looks good. Sharon always looks good. Her jewelry is always beautiful. Let's continue on with Diana's comment here, who says, I also liked the blue dresses and suits for the wedding party, as I like blue a lot. I've noticed a lot of the characters wearing blue lately. Must be a current hot color. I gotta pause there because, oh yeah, the girls in blue and the guys in blue. It was like a dark navy blue. I was inspired by that for my attire today. That dark blue really stood out, especially for a New Year's Eve. I feel like blue is such a December, January color. Maybe that's why we've been seeing it a lot lately, but it's a cold color. It just seems right for the cold season. Diana says, I think Mariah's dress may have looked better with a pretty necklace instead of earrings with the very low neckline. Her chest looked too bare. Yeah, I guess I didn't think of Mariah or Faith as very standout. I think the bridesmaid's not really supposed to stand out, but it was a funny moment where Mariah was asking Faith to help her pick out the earrings, and what she probably really needed was a necklace. Diana goes on to say, I liked Amanda's coat when she went to Devon's place for New Year's Eve, and especially loved her mauve blouse she was wearing. It was very feminine and pretty. Pause. Amanda is another one who just always looks impeccable. Abby looked very pretty in the powder blue dress she wore on New Year's Eve, along with Chance's matching powder blue dress shirt. Yeah, and again, I gotta say, Abby's wedding dress was a miss for me, but I did love what she was wearing to Sharon's wedding, and Abby and Chance made a cute couple. I always love Lily's dresses also, Diana says, as she wears them so well. Whoever is in charge of wardrobe at Y&R is doing an excellent job. Whoever's in charge of wardrobe, whoever's in charge of those sets. This is just something that's occurring to me right now. I was looking at Sharon's home this week, as I think this might have been the first week. No, I don't know. We got to see Sharon's Christmas decor, the home, and her Christmas cards. Just everything Sharon's house is crammed right. It just looks so lived in. There's always coats on the coat rack, Faith's backpack on the coat rack sometimes too, and then we see Faith carrying that backpack. That is such a touch that it adds such a hominess and such a realism to the scenes, and I just wanted to say that I appreciate that along with the fashion. Victoria says, my favorite was Nick in his dashing wine-colored velvet blazer. What a nice look. Victoria, Nick has got to be my runner-up. The men have been bringing it to the weddings. Normally the guys are unremarkable, but those velvet suit jackets are sharp. And I really liked the blue contrasting with the wine. The men looked good. Leslie, backing me up here, says, Tessa is back to the gothish look. And I'm not a fan of that look on anybody. She was so pretty with the last hair color to me. It is very gothish. Normally, the other ones don't bother me. Her hair, though, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's that her hair's darker, and that's making everything appear darker. Goth doesn't bother me. Maybe it was just so weird, like the feathers with the beret. It was a fashion moment. I will give it to her for that. I will give it to Tessa for wearing something remarkable. It's like Bjork with her bird dress all a long time ago. I mean, you know, it's like people may hate it, they may love it, but it gets you talking about it. So, but yeah, Sharad on the topic of Tessa says, excuse me, when would Tessa have time to make a demo? She just finished the song on her fire escape yesterday. Does the shoebox apartment now have a recording studio? This is too laughable. Yeah, I know. We had the really cool scene where Tessa is feeling writer's block. That's perfect for her. This was a perfect way to incorporate Tessa into the wedding. And then right before the wedding, she ejects out of there and says, oh, we'll just play the recording of Tessa's song. I felt hyped up for what Tessa would end up producing. What song she would sing. How would it sound? What words would she choose? I felt like the episode surrounding Tessa's writer's block was a little bit of a cliffhanger, and it was something I was looking forward to hearing at the wedding. Not only did we not hear Tessa play it, but we didn't hear this said demo that apparently she was just going to play over the intercom. That's so yucky. Sorry, I can't be at your mother's special wedding night because I'm gonna go off. I mean, I know Mariah told her to do it, but I wanted Tessa to say no. My commitment's with you. I wanted Tessa to stay. It's like the Mariah-Tessa love story has been so totally sidelined in 2020. It's like the writers don't want to let them go because they think maybe that would make them look bad, but keeping Mariah and Tessa as like this so-called token gay couple who are never on the show together, that's what's making the writers look bad. Like, give us Mariah and Tessa or don't give us Mariah and Tessa. I want one or the other. It's just, the limbo's... How about this? T. Nicole says, I think a game could be made out of how many times Faith gets offered a brownie when she's at the coffee house. T. Nicole, it is sort of condescending at this point, the way they are constantly offering Faith the brownies or the smoothie she likes. It's like, the point you're making is pretty much the same point I would like, well, you're comedically making it, but it speaks to my point about, like, that I was trying to make about Mariah pausing her champagne toast to make sure Faith was drinking sparkling cider. Like, yeah, Faith is still a kid, but that doesn't mean we have to treat her like one 24/7. I'm starting to see why Faith is ready to break out of this family prison. Marianne V says, it was great seeing Arturo again. It's a nice touch that he married Ray and Sharon. I thought that was a good scene between him and Abby, too. Oh, good, Mary Envy. I guess you're hitting on all the opposite points I did. I'm glad you enjoyed Arturo, and I'm glad you thought it was cool that he officiated the wedding. I think maybe I'm lukewarm on Arturo. Maybe that's part of it. I like the Rosales family unit. It wouldn't bother me if Arturo was recast, though. Maybe I would have connected with him a little bit more if I really, really loved the character. I think I love the idea of the Rosaleses more than I love Arturo's part in it, even though he was the first Rosales to be on the show. Well, Ellen says, I liked seeing Arturo too. I did think it was a bit tacky for Abby to say, I'm glad you cheated on me. Just say, this is my husband Chance. Good to see you again. I'm glad we both found happiness, or whatever. Similarly, why did Ray have to bring up Arturo and Mia hurting him? This is all water under the bridge by now. Surely the brothers had that conversation several times, so the show seemed to be doing some awkward exposition with these scenes. Like, here's the lowdown on Arturo in 60 seconds or less. Why would you do that in the middle of a special celebration in front of other people? Maybe they didn't want to give Arturo an extra day of screen time to have private conversations with Abby and Ray to clue in the viewers. Couldn't have said it better myself, and I'm glad I wasn't the only one. I felt icky about what Abby said to Arturo, and I'm glad I wasn't the only one. And yeah, this is another good point that Ray and Arturo, I think, had moments of resolving this right before Arturo left town. So you're totally right that it served as exposition. And maybe it needed to be there. Maybe it did. I didn't need it, but that doesn't mean that somebody didn't need it. Diana says, it's too bad that the actress that played Mia did not have a good experience on Y&R, as she was apparently bullied on social media for her size. I thought she had a curvaceous figure and brought a fresh, new, lovely look to the show. I am guessing that's why Y&R did not have Mia attend the wedding and chose not to do a recast just for one episode. I don't know if we are going to see Ray and Sharon in Miami. If we are, then Y&R will have to do a recast for Mia as she's still with Arturo. Do you know how much I would have loved to have had Mia? Forget Arturo. I would have rather had Mia. And it is such a shame that the actress, I don't know that she had any problem with Y&R as in the production or the cast or the executives. I think what had happened was that she spoke out after she had been let go from the show and said that she was very hurt by a lot of the things that she was receiving on social media. And I can believe it. I mean, the whole exact reason Y&R Chat exists is because I've seen how mean Y&R fans can be. They can be mean toward the actors, and it makes no sense to me. I don't know why you would take the time to hate something that you love, or if you don't love it anymore, then just let it go. It's okay to stop watching. It's okay to fast forward through a character's scenes if you don't like it, but the last thing you should do is try to reach out to them independently to tell them that you think that they're ugly or what. Like, it just doesn't even, it's a bizarrity to me. It would never occur to me to do that, but I also understand that it's the nature of the beast. Can you even imagine the hateful and horrible comments that Eric Braeden gets on his social media, or Sharon K's? I mean, I'm sure that you have to have a thick skin for this job, and maybe they've got it, and maybe they can handle it. Maybe she was more like me and would have been very sensitive about it, but all in all, it adds up to a shame, because Mia was amazing. And Astra says, I really don't understand people. She's a beautiful woman and a great actress. I'm currently watching her on the Selena series on Netflix. It's funny because at the time she was on Y&R, I didn't recognize that I knew her from another show that I had seen a few years ago called East Los High, a Hulu original series. I would have preferred Mia to be a troublemaker with a heart over Sally, who does nothing for me as a character. Oh, well, first of all, it's wonderful to hear that Nomi, I don't remember her last name, but I believe her first name was Nomi. Wonderful to hear that she has moved on to other projects that hopefully she finds more fulfilling. But also, I love your point that, I mean, I would rather have Mia over Sally. No doubt. Sandra says Mia was an incredible breath of fresh air in Genoa City. She brought with her so many possibilities. A confidant for Nikki, an aesthetician to the well-off, aesthetician, I'm probably saying that wrong, to the well-off, a thorn in the side to anyone she may have disliked, and she would have been fun to see with Jack. I loved Mia's whole vibe. I know Mia and Jack had a moment too. That would have been way better than Sally. Oh, and she esthetician. I kind of think this is that she had her beauty business. That's cool. She was like an independent makeup and hair artist. Oh my gosh! Don't get me started about all the reasons I love and miss Mia. Man, they made a mistake in getting rid of her. Oh well. The show must go on, so let's continue on about the Sharon and Ray wedding. Gary says, I am serious. The Thursday wedding episode was one of the best I've ever seen. Abby's wedding was so compelling and beautiful, but this one hit a completely different note. Kudos to Y&R to be able to use their imaginations to make both so different and moving. I don't want to go on and on about it, but I'll note that all of the different love relationships were in that restaurant. Everyone assembled had complex relationships with many of the others, and it was a complete love fest of emotions from everyone on so many different levels. This was a celebration for everyone, not just the bride and groom. Ray's ability to love runs deep. I don't think Sharon will be able to finagle leaving him. He will perhaps die. When Sharon and Ray's New Year's wedding was first proposed around Halloween, it sounded so ominous. I couldn't imagine it ending up with anything but a bomb explosion, if not a betrayal by Sharon. But the whole thing came off without a hitch, bringing great joy to me as a viewer. Heartwarming would be an understatement. Happy New Year. Excellent, Gary. And I did also appreciate the fact that after the wedding was over and after the toasts were over, Sharon and Ray said to the crowd, this is our wedding, but we wanted this also to feel like everyone's party. And I think in a way that was directed toward the viewers. Yes, this is a wedding. Yes, there's love. And yeah, there's drama just outside the door. But let's all party right now. This is the party for everyone. This is the party for all of this. And that's how I felt too. Like you said, I was worried that we wouldn't get here. The fact that Sharon wanted to rush to a wedding so quickly with Ray definitely spelled doom. But in the end, that was yet another red herring. And here we are. Sharon and Ray, a married couple for the new year. It was adorable the way he carried her through the door. And she seemed so happy. And at the end of the day, that's what I want for Sharon, at least temporarily. This is a character who has just been sliced and diced so many different ways over the years. It's nice to see her happy and with a man who respects her. When Sharon was with Adam and considering Adam within the last, year or two, she didn't seem happy. So I needed Sharon to be happy so that I could end the year on a happy note. And in that way, I think it is a mission accomplished. Victoria says, I liked how the viewers were able to reevaluate the relationships in Genoa City. How devoted is Adam to Chelsea? Does he deserve her love? Do Amanda and Devon make a good match, or could their friendship help her through the pitfalls of finding her family? Will Faith go further off the rails, and is Jordan orchestrating all the bullying, and why? Oh, gee, Victoria Victoria, I never thought about that Jordan could be orchestrating the bullying. Wow. Oh, that's a great prediction. A little twisty twist there. But I really think you're hitting on the feeling that something about this week and these final episodes of the week specifically was giving me that feeling like, hey, this is 2020. It's been a heck of a one. We're about to put it behind us, and we're going to get ready for the shaking of what we're going to do in 2021. Because of the fact that, yeah, we left Adam on that note. We left Devon and Amanda and Elena on that note. And we saw Devon potentially showing some signs last week of him maybe still having some feelings for Elena as he was viewing her and Nate on a date in the coffee house. So yes, this is an excellent point that shows this week definitely had a sense of transition. So maybe this is a little bit of a peek into where we're going to be headed for 2021. Tony says the New Year's Eve episode was wonderful. I watched it twice and listened to the ending again. I like it when Y&R sometimes ends an episode all around town with a song, and I liked this one. I want to know who sang that version of Auld Lang Syne. It didn't get a credit at the end. Oh, yes, I like when the show ends on those musical notes occasionally too. And we also had ended on a beautiful musical note on Wednesday's show where Sharon was just entering the restaurant and she was just getting to the altar. Wednesday she was getting to the altar. Thursday was the wedding. And Wednesday's episode also had a beautiful song playing as Sharon entered and as everyone took their places around society. And then, as you say, Thursday had the beautiful version of Auld Lang Syne. I wish Y&R would do a better job of crediting the music, because every time there's a particular song that someone that's notable, I always end up getting a lot of people at the website asking if anyone knows where to find this song. And I never do. I always feel bad because I don't know where to point people. I wish Y&R would do a better job of crediting the music, because it's such a great part of the show and people want to know. It's a part that people want to know. Where is that version of Auld Lang Syne, and where is Tessa's song? More importantly, where can we find out where Tessa's song is? Let's talk a little bit about Adam. Ellen says the relentless drumbeat about Adam is Satan. It wasn't like that pre-2020. There was some nuance about the character, but no more. Even Adam's only friend, Chance, has been taken away from him. Marianne V says, I totally agree, Ellen. Adam is being written as a total villain without a heart or soul. Not true. I admit he's done some despicable things, but he is redeemable. Let Adam be the hero. Maybe he can save Faith from alcoholism or some dire accident or something. Might even win Sharon back at some point. Let Adam be the hero. Yeah, he's been a hero before. Why not now? I feel like we are on the cusp of Adam's redemption story. Superplex says, this everyone ganging up on Adam bit is not going over well with the fans. Frankly, we like Adam. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy who wishes ill will on anybody, despite the fact that he tried to bomb the Newman family. The writing staff should realize that very quickly. Yeah, I like Adam, but admittedly, that may just be based on previous iterations of the character. I don't know, is everyone finding Adam overall likable these days? I agree that he's just not getting the right stuffing. He's not getting the right writing. I think he, like a lot of characters, are suffering from a lack of good, strong character right now. Victoria says Adam is often great TV. Everyone calling Adam toxic is very old. Adam's character is multidimensional, and like other characters, he's done despicable things. The way that he's been written lately makes me shake my head. I don't know why Genoa City residents are so against him because of an accident that happened while he was protecting his mother. If Chancecom had reported the facts, this would have been the focus of this tragic accident. And Ellen says, maybe Billy shouldn't now publish a story about how ex-con Lily committed breaking and entering and then Ray got the shooting gloves without a search warrant. Alyssa's defense attorney would have a field day. I cringed also about Billy's idea for this story. It all boiled down to me as Billy trying to fluff Lily up. He wanted to find a way to continue to draw Lily into his web. I think his whole idea for spinning a new story for ChanceCom about the result of the Who Shot Adam story, I just think it was all directed at ingratiating himself with Lily, and everybody else was a side note. Suddenly Lily was like, well, why don't we talk about the other people that were heroes in the situation? How about Chance? How about Ray? And it was like, yeah, sideline. But I mean, this story, this is such a good, another hole. But yeah, why would Billy want to publish a story about how a lot of this evidence that freed him was illegally seized? I cannot. Even it's become so ridiculous. And I know I said it last week, but I don't mind if whatever the result ends up being. But I don't want to feel like my time invested was time wasted. And I do feel like a lot of the Who Shot at Adam story is just, it's left with such an unsatisfying ending that I feel like, well, why did I even bother? Why did I bother going along for this ride? Why did I bother having theories and having polls if they were just going to not really even explain it at the end? All right, I'm moving on. For my own sanity, I'm moving on. Sandra says, at the hospital, Adam said he wouldn't leave. And then the next scene, he's at home. Even if Chelsea survives, Adam will be haunted by his own conscience, knowing that he was eavesdropping at Sharon's wedding instead of being with Chelsea. And where was the red velvet cupcake and dinner that he was bringing home? When he arrived, he was empty-handed. No kidding. He was peeping Sharon's wedding while he said he was out getting them cupcakes. Red velvet with chocolate frosting, and he came home with nothing in his hand. I think we all know what Adam's real reason for being out was, but you make a good point that it would be interesting to see him feeling guilty about that, I guess. Anything that had good stuffing, good frosting would be good for Adam. Superplex says, Chelsea, prepare for a long sleep. I hope it doesn't go that far, but I think a momentary crisis, i.e. Chelsea battling for her life, might bring Sharon together once more in the warm embrace of her true love, Adam. I would imagine the opposite, though. If Chelsea's battling for her life, is it possible that that will jog Adam into realizing that Chelsea is the true love of his life, and that seeing her weakened and thinking about their history together, I would guess more that this was headed toward Adam coming around to the realization that Chelsea is his true love, because he ain't gonna have Sharon. I don't think so. As Gary said, actually, a couple comments ago, I don't know that Ray would leave Sharon. I don't know that Sharon would leave Ray. It almost kind of seems like they're going to have to kill him. Y&R's going to have to kill him to get rid of him. And I know you'd be fine with that. But I am not. Hey, about Gloria, though, Superplex says, oh my gosh, as if the show was reading my mind. Phyllis and Gloria uniting forces to bring down Victoria and the Newman Empire. Okay, so this is the other side of my prediction. You think that Gloria and Victoria are working, or Gloria and Phyllis are working together to bring down Victoria. Does Gloria have any current beef with Victoria? I don't think so. So I'm guessing that would mean that Gloria would have to be in it for the money. Or, I don't know, it just seems to make more sense to me that Gloria got the evidence on Phyllis. But we'll see. I mean, I don't know. How about this alternative perspective about Gloria from Leslie. We always do a lot of Gloria love here between Superplex and myself, but Leslie says, I don't like Gloria, and especially don't want her with Jack. Her former stepson, and she is the person I still hold responsible for the death of the beloved Jack Abbott. If we're going to go with a previous step-parent-step relationship for Jack, I would prefer him with Victoria. I know I'm in the minority, but Gloria can stay gone forever, and I would not miss her. Well, it's funny because I tell you, there is a part of me that thinks, I wonder if they would pair Victoria and Jack. I mean, for crying out loud, if they're willing to pair Gloria and Jack, I guess, step-parent, no, I don't think they can do it. They're both single, and in my mind, I think, well, the two human being characters could possibly be interesting to watch together, but the fact that they've been step-parent at all, it can't be. That null and voids the possibility for me. But hey, I'm always up for an alternative viewpoint here, and it's interesting that you don't connect with Gloria. You blame her and Jack for John's death. Oh yeah. I mean, it was not a good time of Y&R. The whole Tom Fisher thing. There's lots of reasons to not like Gloria, and to tell you the truth, I did not like Gloria when she initially came onto the show. I did not like Joan Van Ark, and I did not like Judith Chapman when she first came on. It's only really been since she hasn't been on regularly that I've become much more enjoying of her character. Gloria was always in trouble, and Gloria was always scheming something, and Gloria was always serious. She was not played for comedy the way she is now, and I think it's when they brought her back and let her be a little more funny, a little more kooky with moments of wonderful humanity. That's when I started more to appreciate Gloria. So, you know, I can identify with not liking her. I used to really not like her. Oh, but all that's in the past, and all we have left is to consider the present and the future, including our 2021 predictions. Last week, I asked you guys to start giving me your predictions for the upcoming year. What do you think's gonna happen? I'm going to leave that post up at yrchat.com for one more week. You got one more week to give me your predictions, and some of the ones we got from week 1 have been pretty good. I mean, some of you guys are like writers. Superplex is a good example, and I think this is a good idea with a potential good twist. Superplex says Sally in the year 2021 will bed Jack in the hopes that she can displace Kyle as the center of Jack's affections. Exploiting her influence over Jack, she convinces him to institute changes in the hierarchical structure of Jabot with the goal of placing herself in an advantageous position with regards to Kyle and Lauren. Both quickly realize that Sally has become their #1 nemesis. They conspire to bring her down, but their attempts go all for naught when Sally announces that she's pregnant. Without a moment's notice, Jack finds himself in the middle of an emotional crisis. He questions whether he wishes to go through fatherhood all over again. And eventually Jack decides that he needs to straighten up and accept the consequences of his actions. Just as it looks like Sally is about to achieve all her goals, Theo reemerges and announces, much to the dismay of the assembled mass, that he is the father of Sally's baby. Quite a journey. Sally gets pregnant with Jack's child, and Jack is questioning whether or not he wants to be a father. On a side note, it was in 2019 that Jack was having that question with Carrie. Remember, Carrie was going through some fertility treatments, and Jack was saying, I don't want to be a father. So, in Superplex scenario here, flashing into 2021, Jack's realizing that he might not have a choice until Theo comes in and announces himself as the real daddy. I like that. Well, Kamna says that Jack's new love interest will be not Sally, not Gloria, but Naya. Oh, that's right. She will be a woman of around probably Jack's age group. I mean, let's see, Amanda and Kyle are around the same age, so certainly possible that that Amanda's mom will be cast full time and that she will become Jack's new love. It's also possible that Y&R's just gonna not give Jack a new love, and we're gonna keep spinning and spinning on it all year long, and he'll be single at the end of 2021 again. Well, T. Nicole predicts that Amanda's newfound sister will come into the picture and could get together with Nate. How about that? Someone totally different for Nate. I might be okay with that. Sandra predicts that Nate will become unfulfilled at the hospital, decides to leave Genoa City, and starts a new life to join Olivia with Doctors Without Borders. Ugh, I tell you, if they don't do something with Nate soon, they probably are going to get rid of him. I mean, he just meanders. There's nothing there. I see aside from all the hotness, I see the actor. I think he's a good actor. I think he should be doing more. He is just whittled into this one little tiny nook of the show with just Elena and just Devon. He never interacts with Lily. He was interacting with Nick for a little bit. I thought that was cool, but that hasn't happened in a while. There's just more. I sense that there could be more for him, and I don't know why Y&R's not biting on it. Well, this is not a prediction, but on the topic of Nate and Olivia, Teresa is a podcast listener, and she was new to chime in at Y&R Chat this week. Teresa says, I think it's time to bring back Olivia, Nate's mom. He needs someone in his corner, and Devon needs Aunt Liv to stop being such a hypocrite. There's no reason to attack his cousin. Nate can't perform surgery anymore, and Devon needs to stop acting so cavalier about it. Oh, I agree with that. And hey, what if Olivia came back and was a match for Jack? How about that? I like it, Teresa. I like the idea of bringing Olivia back. I wonder, maybe the actress doesn't want to come back. What if it was a recast? Would we be okay with a recast of Olivia? I would. I mean, I like Tanya, can't think of her last name, but I'd be okay with a recast if it got us Olivia back. Hey, Lynn4283 is predicting that Amanda is really Hillary Curtis Hamilton in 2021. I agree. I mean, I don't know for sure, but, and I wouldn't be surprised either way, but I'm not, something in me is still saying that the path could lead there. Who knows? Here's an interesting prediction from Victoria, who says, who predicts that Tessa's sister, Crystal, returns. A new dance entertainment bar opens in Genoa City. Kyle is excited to take his new bride Summer. The main entertainment for the night is a beautiful, alluring, mysterious young woman. She goes over to Kyle's table and sings to them. She and Kyle exchange looks. Kyle is smitten. We later find out that this girl is Crystal. She is determined to get wealthy any way she can, and she uses the skills she learned growing up and from Zach to lure Kyle away and creates havoc through the town. Oh, Victoria, this is an interesting prediction when about Tessa's sister in the week that Tessa mentioned her sister. It definitely blew me back when Tessa had her moment with Sharon and mentioned that Sharon gave her sister back, I think was what she said, something to the like. It took me a moment because I was thinking, I don't fully remember this storyline, but I remember the sex ring. It's kind of hard to forget the sex ring. I don't think we ever saw all that much of Crystal, but she'd be an interesting pull from the past. Sam predicts that Billy and Lily will grow closer, but that will soon change as Billy starts receiving threats from Kyle about him sleeping with Summer as part of revenge. I know, when is Y&R gonna blow up that secret? I don't know if it's too late at this point. I'm not sure. gonna be all that juicy. It feels like the bomb has been diffused over the 2 years since it happened, but I kind of wish they would give it a try. I like the idea. Astra says, we all know Abby and Chance will have fertility issues, and I think they will break up by next Christmas. Ooh. On the flip side, Billy and Lily will get pregnant just because neither of them wants any kids. I kind of like that, Astra. I mean, well, I don't want Abby and Chance to necessarily break up, but I kind of like the idea of maybe working a little closer toward an Abby and Lily friendship, only to have it come out that Abby's having her infertility troubles while Lily gets pregnant when she was not trying and didn't really want to. Ooh. How about that? Well, Sharad says, since we all seem to feel that Abby will not be able to get pregnant, my out there prediction for 2021, based on her rather surprising choice as her maid of honor, is that Abby will ask Mariah to be a surrogate for her and Chance. As we all know from a conversation Mariah had with Hillary long ago, she didn't feel she would want to have children, but she agrees to help Abby, and then of course drama can ensue when Mariah decides to keep the baby. Oh, I mean, that's not bad, because, I mean, it almost sort of feels like it's in the consciousness there right now. The infertility, Mariah as the maid of honor, Abby talking to Lily. Lily had used Mackenzie as a surrogate to have her kids. She kind of brought that up this week. So, yeah, I wouldn't rule it out. How about this? Southside Granny says Billy predicts that Billy and Lily are headed to New Orleans when the plane goes down. The only survivor is Billy, who is stabilized and brought back to Genoa City to recover. When Billy recovers and the facial bandages are removed, who is it? None other than Billy Miller. Remember, the Lily actress previously left Y&R for other pursuits. Tracy can end up stepping up to the plate at Chancellor Communications since Lily was killed off and Billy remains hospitalized. Remember, Tracy's a writer and will fit right into place. So you think Lily gets killed off, Billy becomes Billy Miller, and Tracy becomes a head honcho at Chancecom. On the note of Tracy, one thing I do have to appreciate about this writing team is that they seem to realize what a gem Tracy is, and they have given her the material, so that does make me happy and hopeful for 2021. I hope we keep that going, because one of my predictions for 2021 that I listed at the website was that Tracy would return to town with an engagement ring on her finger and a suspicious new bow. Ooh, I think that would be intriguing. Diana predicts that JT will come back on the scene and will be back to his old self after returning from the Peace Corps. He sweeps Ashley off of her feet with his good looks and charm, and we finally have a hot older woman with a younger hot guy on the show. Ashley and JT, I kind of like it. Yeah, and then Victoria and Ashley can be giving side eyes to each other a little bit. Well, no, wait, I forgot. Well, Victoria would have forgiven JT, but she certainly wouldn't want him back, right? But either way, I think Thad Luckenbill was so great, so good, and I wouldn't mind seeing him come back on the scene. I mean, Peace Corps, yeah, that's great. I like it. Well, Marianne V predicts that Faith will be on a downward spiral, and Nick and Sharon will have to work together to prevent another death like Cassie's. Oh, Marianne V, so are you thinking that Faith's crisis will lead to a reunion between Sharon and Nick in 2021? I mean, that would be my preferred triangle. Honestly, I'd rather have Sharon, Nick, Ray over Sharon, Adam, Ray. I'll just be over here holding out hope forever for a Nick and Sharon reunion. Maybe one of these days it'll come true. But hey, let's end on Superplex's #1 prediction for 2021. Superplex predicts that there will be more intimacy and less social distancing for the year 2021. Well, I tell you what, Superplex, let's keep hope and let's keep our fingers crossed for that one to come true. All right, Y&R chatters. YRChat.com is where you can go to get in your 2021 predictions. I'm going to leave it up through next Saturday. So if you have another prediction to add to the running list, get it in there before Saturday, and then it'll be closed off until December 2021. Also, if you have any comments about the wedding or the show or the polls or anything else you want to say, head to the website to leave me your comments, and I will be reading those and coming back next week for a full 5 episodes to chat about. The new year has bright new promise for us, you know, as people, but for Y&R as a show. I'm looking forward to seeing what we're going to get. And I am going to have hope and faith that things are just going to get better and better. So join me, if you will, for another year of Y&R Chat. Who can even believe that this is still going since 2008? But here we are. We're going to have another good year of Y&R Chat. That I can promise you. That's a prediction I think that will come true. I don't know how good Y&R is going to be all year, but I promise that I will turn it into gold for Y&R Chat. We'll have fun. We'll make it entertaining. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, we'll have some fun. How about that? Okay, everybody. I hope you have a really good week, a really happy new year, and I will see you next time.